to share with you how I manage burnout as a female entrepreneur. Burnout is a real thing, especially for entrepreneurship, because oftentimes we are so inundated with so many things that we want to be doing in our business, especially as women, that it's on our to-do list. It's things that we are taking care of both emotionally, physically, and burnout is something that we honestly struggle with quite a bit. For those that haven't known me, I want to talk to you about some of the ways I've learned how to manage burnout over the last few years, because I've not hit it just once. I've hit it a couple of times as I've built different businesses. And I started to recognize that there was something else going on. There was something else I wasn't aware of in all the business education I was getting and all the mentorship I was getting and all the seminars I was going to. They weren't addressing these three concerns that I think are super important, especially for female entrepreneurs that are building businesses and want to build successful, sustainable businesses over the long term. So let's go ahead and dive into that. For those that don't know me, my name is Chef Katrina. I'm one of the co-founders and co-creators of Truth Bomb Academy, and we work with and specialize in teaching women how to become millionaires without the burnout and overwhelm using these three simple techniques I'm about to share with you. So if you know of a female entrepreneur that is burning out, or you feel like this would be something that resonates with you, then go ahead and hit that subscribe button for sure, and hit the notification button. Let people know that this is information that can help them grow their business without feeling like they're over their head. They're overwhelmed and they're frustrated with how this process is going. I get it. I've been there, done that in so many ways. So let's talk about what it actually means to be burnt out. Okay. I've heard this quite a bit in terms of like, what is the expression of burnout? And for me, it felt like both like I was exhausted all the time. I wanted to do nothing more than sleep. And I really had zero motivation to be working on my business. A lot of the times I was like trying to drag myself up to like create content or think of something to say. So if you've ever been in that boat where you're like, I don't even know what to say or what to post or what to do in my business, this is a clear sign you're heading for burnout. And really what burnout is it's not managing our energy as female entrepreneurs. So one of the crazy things is a lot of our business education that we've been gifted over the years from amazing men and mentors who have built successful businesses has been given their game plan and structure for building a business, which has been amazing. It works. I promise you it works. The unfortunate side of following their game plan is that it actually causes more women to burn out faster. It's actually 43% of women burn out in business, and they're not sustainable over long term because we're exhausted. We're emotionally, physically, and mentally exhausted because we're not maintaining and controlling our energy. So of course, what do the gurus tell us? The first thing we need to do is self-care. Yes, you heard it first here, ladies. The first thing you want to do is self-care. Now, we've been taught over the years, and a lot of this is programming throughout the centuries that we've had access to, is that self-care for women means going getting our hair done, getting our nails done, getting a massage, going buy a new dress, because we've been conditioned throughout most of our lifetime and throughout history that that's how women self-care. And the reality is that's not self-care. It actually doesn't even touch the surface of what it means for self-care for women. For women, we actually naturally flow through a cycle. We actually cycle through, I think it's anywhere from 21 to 35 days that we cycle through. So self-care for us is not about going and doing something. It's actually talking about our self-worth. So almost all the time when I talk to female entrepreneurs, the one thing they tell me, even if they've had massive success, incredible success, just like I have myself, I didn't feel worthy of that success. I didn't feel like I deserved that success. And there was a lot of negative looping that was going on because I've been conditioned to not believe that I can have this in my life. And though I've reached the pinnacle of it, there were things holding me back. So a lot of times when we were told self-care, we think it's outside of us, but really self-care is the internal conversation we're having with ourselves around what we're accomplishing in our lives, how we're impacting the people around us, how we're impacting our family, our friends, what kind of life are we creating? And that really comes down to your self-worth. Do I feel like this is worth my time? Do I feel like this is something I should be doing to grow my business? And that doesn't always benefit us in that negative loop. So one of the things that I put into practice is really defining what are my priorities in life. What are my priorities that I need to really look at? So we talked about self-care in terms of self-care is more about your self-worth. How do you feel about yourself? And really stop for a moment and ask yourself, how do I feel? How do I feel about what I'm doing in my business? How do I feel about how my day is going, how my hour is going, the activity that I'm working on? The other question I ask a lot of my women to ask themselves is, are you finding pleasure in it? Do you find pleasure in your activities? Because most of the time we've been given a language that doesn't serve us as women. And I found that when we start asking ourselves, how do I feel, doesn't really resonate. But asking ourselves, do I get pleasure from this? actually has more of a tonality, and we feel that more in our bodies as women. So it's not about how does that make me feel. It's asking yourself, do I get pleasure from doing this? The next piece of this that I want to talk to you about is your priorities. This has been something that I have watched women with struggle, including myself, for years. Every time I would go to a time management seminar or training, I would just watch myself and all the women in there just glaze over going, how am I going to put this into my life? How am I going to manage to do all these things that you guys are telling me to do that has worked for you in building a business? This consistency bullshit that we keep having drilled into our heads that doesn't serve us as women. What I've discovered and working with women over the last year is that we actually had to create time magic. And what time magic does is it allows women each to, first off, get present to who they are. That was the first big thing we had to work with on women, is like, who are you? What are you aware of? What is it that's important to you? And really laying that foundation first, because honestly, so many times we don't take the time to get to know ourselves. We're so busy taking care of other people and prioritizing everybody else but ourselves that a lot of times I hear women say, I don't even know who I am anymore, or I just got to take time to find myself. And that's a reflection of what we're missing in our education for women, especially around time. So what I work with on women is that we create time together. And really around this, we set priorities, we set boundaries. Most of the training out there that we get is still structured around the patriarchal or male formula for time management. And even when I hear women talk about energy management, it still comes back down to, what is your pleasure? How do you want to feel about your week? And really touching back in and tuning into your body as a woman. This is something that I recognized when I was going through burnout. I was numb from the neck down. And I talk about this often in our podcast because I was so just unattached to this body that I was in, because I thought I had to be this analytical, high-performing, linear individual in order to run a business, but I wasn't listening to my own body. So I was getting fatigued. I was getting sick. I wasn't feeling well. I was drained all the time. And I didn't want to drag myself out of bed because it just didn't feel right to do this. One of the things that we teach in the world of Unlocking My Millions is time magic, because time and how women create their priorities is really up to you. And no woman does it the same way. To be honest, we are also vastly different in our priorities and how our bodies cycle and the emotions that we move through, that it doesn't make sense to say, hey, this is exactly how it goes, and really creating a safe space for women to work through their time, work through their priorities, discover for themselves who they really are, because this isn't a common conversation. So much so that when we started giving them priorities, it really was about, what are your 3 things you're doing today? Are they getting done? Do you feel good about it? Do they bring you pleasure, right? Inside of what you're up to. And that was the first part of understanding, when you prioritize and you create that in your life, women were becoming more self-aware, more productive, and they were starting to get faster results in their business, but they were also reconnecting back with their family, with their significant other, and they were having a more abundant life because they felt like they understood how time worked for them. Our bodies flow differently. We're managing our energy completely different from our male counterparts out there. It's just, we're not the same. One of the things that I've started reading are books that help reduce burnout. And I think the couple of things that honestly stress women out the most, that cause a lot of the burnout, is not understanding our own bodies and how amazing we are as women. So the book that I've just gone through is actually called Pussy, a Reclamation. And I really love this book because honestly, this book has been a gift from another woman in talking about what it is to be a woman, understanding how we flow, how we emotionally, how we've been given perceptions and beliefs about what is a woman. And I just love what she's created for me, and just the conversations that opened up amongst those inside of Unlocking My Millions and all the women that we've been talking to, because we learn to speak a different language. We're actually learning how to communicate better with each other, and we're getting back an understanding of what it is to be a woman, and understanding how our body moves, how we cycle, how we feel, and leveraging that as a powerful force inside of building business. Now, one of the other things that often comes up for female entrepreneurs, and we don't discuss this enough, I think we dive into so much around the burnout, the emotional state, that we say that women are high stress, high emotion. Well, we are, because we're not connected into our body. That's why I love Pussy. Because of that, we starting to get back our language. We're starting to get familiar with myself again. And that has been a big, big piece. One of the other things we often talk about is just breathing. And so many times, and this is what we do a lot inside of Unlocking My Millions, is that we've integrated this into the world of business structure. So not only are we teaching the foundation of business, how to design your business, how to create it around and weave it into your life as women, we actually teach you how to take those moments to breathe. And one of the interesting things is that as women, this little act can set us free in so many ways and get us present and release so much stress that we're holding on to. So one of the things about breathing is that when you breathe in, you want to breathe in through your nose. This is like just to stop. And you want to exhale out through your mouth. And you want that exhale to be longer than that inhale. So I'm just going to do this with you because it's really amazing. I don't think we spend enough time doing this. So I'm just going to breathe. So I'm going to go ahead and breathe in and just breathe out. Wow. So crazy. And just doing that, I could feel my shoulders relax. I could feel myself get present to you in this video that's watching. And that's really all it takes most of the time for us women to get present back into our bodies and really understand how we're going to move forward in our day. So if you're getting frustrated, if you're starting to feel yourself stressed out, if you're starting to feel a high level of anxiety, then I invite you just to take a deep breath in and exhale out. This is a game changer and will shift so much for you. The last thing I want to leave you with is that as an entrepreneur, a lot of the times our biggest stress in building our business is not just bringing in the leads and getting new customers, it's also managing the cash. How do you make sure that you always have the money on hand to take care of the business needs and to pay yourself first? Too often, I will tell you women, we do not pay ourselves first. I do recommend, we have one of my co-founders here has also created a video recently called How to Pay Yourself. And that video, I'm pointing to either side because I'm not sure where it'll be on, but that video, it really ties into what is it that is stopping women from paying themselves first and a system to put in place over time. If you've already been building your business, it might not be something you're going to just leapfrog into, but it's something that I do recommend taking the time. We've implemented this strategy around paying ourselves first as a company so that we're not burning out and we're not stressed out around the finances of our business because we're building in profit, we're building in a payment structure for us, and so that we're not leaving ourselves just to build incredible businesses but not take care of ourselves financially also. So these are some of the things that if you want to avoid burnout, if you really want to look at how do you build a business successfully as a woman and not be in that full-on state of burnout, then what I do recommend is following us inside of Truth Bomb Marketing. We built out an incredible course called Unlocking My Millions. And Unlocking My Millions is a training course designed specifically for women. We've taken and collaborated with some amazing women across the world in different modalities. So not just in the business world, but also in the meditation and in different areas around this. Because here's what I do know for us women is that we don't know our own bodies, and the science around what our bodies do and how we create it and how we create energy and manage it is still relatively new. So we're working with and listening from individuals like Dr. Remka, who's been a profound impact in our lives as female entrepreneurs. And we're bringing forward and weaving in and pulling the threads back together for female entrepreneurs so that they can avoid burnout. But when you learn to structure your business in such a way that it feels like it's part of your life and not a separate entity of your life, and that you still have value and worth in other areas of your life, this is what builds that holistic, beautiful world in which we live in. So I want to invite you into Unlocking My Millions. Be part of this extraordinary training. It's cutting edge. There's nothing like it on the market. And you're also going to have access to a community of female entrepreneurs that are learning this new approach that is really allowing them to become millionaires faster, to unlock their million ideas. There are a million works that are at play. And we really invite you into this because it is so unique. It is so different. And it gives you a safe place to really have conversations around being a female that has a period, that doesn't have a period. We talk about the female cycle. We talk about our emotions. And this conversation has been critical for women to feel like they're not a fraud, that they understand their self-worth that they're bringing to the table. They're asking for more in income. They're seeing more productivity while doing less. This is a game changer. So you're invited to become part of our Unlocking My Millions community because this is where female entrepreneurs bloom, grow, and truly have the success they desire without the burnout. It's time to add some fun, play, and getting shit done with ease into your life. If this is you, let me know and definitely join our community. If you found value in this and you think there's another female entrepreneur that needs to hear about this also, then go ahead and hit that subscribe button yet again. go ahead and share this out. And I'd love to hear comments from you. So if you're a female that's been going through any of this and you're like, wow, I just needed somebody to validate what I'm going through, comment down below. Share some of your burnouts with us. Let us know where you're at in your business. We're here to support and cheer you on as your sisters in business. So we'll see you hopefully inside Unlocking My Millions. Talk soon.